Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? We are here.
Hi guys.
Hello.
So, I've been
Hello.
better.
Yeah, we are cut the nets basketball talking about the NBA with me, Brian, and Andy. This is our last ditch effort to make an appearance. No, we'll be consistent from here on out. I've got like the motivation. We all got the motivation to talk ball. So here we go. We were going to talk about the playoffs, but we got busy. So we are in the middle of the Eastern and Western Conference playoffs, which, hey, no better time to talk about ball than right now, right? So before we get to that, though, we have to send the Cavs packing. I know that it's been like a little, almost a week, probably a week since the Cavs played an NBA game. They were, in my opinion, the 2015 Atlanta Hawks with slightly better scoring.
Haven't heard that one before. Wow. Real,
Yeah,
real clever guys.
but it's just there's something about this team, or there's something about teams that Donovan Mitchell plays on that makes me feel like he won't ever get a ring in his life because it's happened a lot. He hasn't made a conference final before in his NBA career. But every time he joins a team or is on a team that has serviceable plus at least serviceable co-stars, it's mostly the Donovan Mitchell show where he chucks up a shot and shoots like 30 times, and the rest of his teammates don't really do much. They just stand around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So, Andy, let's
Um
let's start let's start with that. Let's talk about that, Andy. I know,
I
I know.
guess I guess as a resident Cavs fan, it's on me. So now that the dust has settled, it's been I think a week and a couple days since
In a
the
week,
the Cavs lost Game 5 to the Pacers. I went to Game 4, by the way, where the Cavs were down 41 at halftime. Not a good idea to spend all that money and drive 3 hours to go see your team trail by the largest deficit in NBA playoff history at halftime. But that's besides the point. Um, now that the dust has settled and Cavs fans aren't barking out trade DG, trade this guy, trade that. Let's get Giannis, even though it's like nearly impossible for us to create a trade to do so, which we're going to talk about later. That's called foreshadowing.
hell yeah.
Um, I think that a lot of the hate towards the Cavs was overblown, but at the same time, a lot of it was very valid. And I think the thing that bothers me the most is the last 3 years of the playoffs, the Cavs run into a team that shows a little bit of physicality, and it is far too much for them. It's bad when, like, it's not that the Pacers play great defense. They're a great defensive team. I mean, you can name all the different point of attack on ball defenders they have, as well as rim protectors up and down their roster that make them so great. But at the same time, when Coach Kenny Atkinson admitted that, yeah, they pressured us in on a full court press and towards the half court line a bit more than usual, and that got us completely out of our offensive sets. What does that say about this team? What they've been working on in practice, and just what can they do against that little bit of extra defense? Because it's not like they were absolutely swarming them around the half court thing. They weren't, they weren't getting fouled up there. The pressure was just there. There was a lot more presence further from the basket, and I guess the Cavs just couldn't handle that. They just completely lost. I really couldn't even begin to explain that to you. I mean, you could go into the individual performances of guys that definitely didn't show up. I know where there was a lot of injuries in this roster. A lot of guys weren't 100%. Evan was uh, nursing an injury. Donovan with an ankle thing. Darius Garland, I feel like, has come in the last couple playoffs just injured, and that definitely hasn't helped the whole playoff DG narrative that he's created. And well, Brian can tell you what playoff DG looked like 2 years ago against the Knicks. So sorry, Darius. But my point is, it's mind blowing how the physicality just completely took them out of it and got them out of there in 5 games. You could talk about how they were in contention in the first two, and then game one was the Pacers, game two was the Pacers' crazy comeback, which they seem to keep being able to do. And a nice shot by Tyrese to send the Cavs back in there in game two. The other big thing is Jeremy, you kind of touched on this already. I don't know why the Cavs offense, when we're playing a solid defense, turns to give the ball to Donovan Mitchell and watch him do stuff.
Exactly.
The stat that I'm going to refer to is his usage rates in that 5 game series with the Pacers was north of like 42 or 43%. Okay. The most dominant single player run I've seen from the Cleveland Cavaliers in my lifetime, in anybody's lifetime probably, was 2018 LeBron. His usage rates, when his second best player he probably had to work with was an aging Kevin Love or George Hill or Rodney Hood, was nowhere near 42 or 43%. And we're expecting Donovan Mitchell to shoulder that same type of load compared to the greatest playoff run we've ever seen all time. Evan Mobley was one of the most efficient scorers in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. He looked great. He got an MVP vote, fifth place, but he got an MVP vote this year. That's pretty good. He was shooting the ball like 8 times a game. He didn't shoot the ball more than 12 times a game in any part. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. And like I said, our offense got out of whack because Indiana showed a little bit of physicality. So there's a lot more to be said than just a lot of things going towards Donovan Mitchell. But I really don't understand how him or now the second coach that he's taken this Cavs team to the playoffs with, or even going back to the Jazz days, I don't know how they think that giving him the ball and letting him be the center of the universe in offense is going to win playoff games. Jeremy, you spoke it before, and the stats kind of back it up. That's just not going to win you anything. The Pacers are moving the ball so well, assisting on an overwhelming majority of their made field goals. The Cavs are the stark contrast to that. And I think it absolutely ruined them. It's a miracle we got one game out of that 5 game series.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I
you
think
go
it's
ahead. Go ahead, Brian. I'm just looking at some
I
stats
think
for
it's
Mitchell.
to what Jeremy kind of said, and then Andy, what you said. I think yes, I mean the Donovan Mitchell usage is crazy. He tries to play crazy. Maybe he's not the guy, but I think the main part of this, and I think, and Andy, you kind of talked about it. I don't like blame Cleveland as much as they did because they were hurt and they were missing core guys. And I mean, this Pacers team is good. They're a lot better last year than they were last year because they improved so much defensively. They had a full season of Pascal Siakam this year, and like you said, they really defensively can attack you from any point of the ball, and it leads to them great offensively. But I think as far as Cleveland's offensive collapse, I think it's on 2 words. Kenny Atkinson, the NBA Coach of the Year. I just think, in my opinion, and I loved Kenny Atkinson. I wanted the Knicks to hire him, but back in 2021. But I think the lights were just too bright for him, and this was his first year to really go far because he was on those Brooklyn Net teams, like coaching that didn't really do anything, and then now he's on Cleveland. He wins Coach of the Year, 1 seed, one of the best records in basketball, and then he just completely got outcoached by Rick Carlisle, NBA Final champion Rick Carlisle, who just had an answer for everything he was throwing out there. And I think with that, Kenny Atkinson kind of just got desperate, and I think that relied on like Donovan Mitchell be the star, and just like what was working for Kenny, what worked for them in the regular season wasn't working for them in the playoffs. So he just relied on a star to try to make a play and be the leader. And whether it was an awful offensive game plan that wouldn't work for anyone, or it was Mitchell had the yips when the lights were too bright in general. But a quality guy like Evan Mobley should be getting at least double digit shot attempts, and he wasn't even getting that. So yeah, you can blame Mitchell, but I think Kenny Atkinson deserves a little bit more blame.
Yeah, I will agree on that front 100%. And I think the big thing that showed it, offense, I think was the story of the Cavs series, and that's mainly what went wrong. But even on the defensive end, and I'm calling specifically to that game 4 where they got absolutely just blown out in the first half. And if Indiana played us 3 out there for the second half, the Pacers still would have won essentially. The amount of times I saw Indiana get the easiest switch known to man when we had a Max Strus or a Darius Garland or an Isaac Okoro guarding a guy that's like a foot taller than them, like a Miles Turner or a Pascal Siakam, and them just easily putting it in was unbelievable. There seemed to be no adjustment there. All Carlisle schemed up was a high pick and roll on where one of the bigs would have to switch onto a guard and one of the guards would have to switch on a big defensively. Get the other big out of the middle. So get Mobley or Allen, whoever's not working on the screen, out of there. So the interior is open. Are the reason we have 2 7-footers is to protect the paint. Neither of them are in the paint now. They have the switch, and that's the easiest basket they're going to get all day. I know it doesn't help that Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam both shoot from the outside. It spaces the floor, so it's harder to help. Like, the Pacers are a good team. You give credit where credit's due. But to see that happen probably 6 or 7 times in a matter of 10 minutes in that first half, that continued on in the later stages of that series, it was just mind numbing to watch. And I know Kenny and the team are going to go back and watch that film and realize how bad it is. They have a lot of time to look at it before next year, obviously. It was just so incredibly frustrating to see this team who has almost had the best record in Cavs history, definitely the best record without LeBron James on the roster, to see them go out like that in terms of like coaching malpractice, injured guys just not stepping up, us just not hitting shots, and overall just like not really wanting to be there, falling asleep and just looking disheveled. It was just so incredibly frustrating. That's
Yeah.
all I can say.
All right. Well, hey man, that was about 8 minutes worth of content right there, guys. That was some good stuff. Good
Sorry,
stuff.
was I
Definitely.
yapping too much?
I
I
know
can
you were
do this
good.
from
You were
time to
definitely
time.
good. I wanted to put some 2 cents in, something to close us out with. The Pacers pretty much beat the Cavs on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Their 3-point percentage was at least 37% in every single game, aside from Game 3 when the Cavs won Game 3 and beat them 2-1, I believe, or beat them and the series was 2-1.
Yeah.
So the only games where the Cavs might have won that could have been winnable was Game 5, or yeah, Game
Game
5.
5 in Cleveland should have,
Game
yeah,
5 in
that was,
Cleveland.
yeah.
They had the lead for the most of the time until like the third quarter, and the Pacers ran away with it in the fourth quarter. And then also, I believe it was Game 1 when they had also a chance to also win. They
Game
were
1 was neck and neck. Indiana pulled
neck and
away at
neck.
the end. Game 2 was the crazy comeback with the Halliburton step back on Ty
Yeah,
Jerome.
exactly. And that was, and the Pacers have had that all season long and in the playoffs. If you guys saw a stat, I think I recall Tyrese Halliburton has been 10 for 11 on clutch shots under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter in the entire regular season and the playoffs. That includes both. And it showed 3 times in the playoffs against the Bucks, against your Cavs, and against your Knicks, Brian, in Game 1.
Oh,
So it's just, you see how great the Pacers are shooting right now. You just kind of wonder, when is it going to like come back down to earth? And I feel like the Pacers, although I do believe that they're going to win in 6 games, as I said in my TikTok. By the way, my TikTok that I sent, basically in 6 games, it's like 20K views. Knicks fans are mad, and it's funny. As soon as I posted this about 2 days before the Knicks and Pacers game, Game 1, and when the Pacers won on that in overtime, could have won on that awesome buzzer beater, but Tyrese has his toe was on the line, on the 3-point line. So, but still, they won in overtime. So many comments on my TikTok had the Reggie Miller choke, responding to all the Knicks fans, including you, Brian. It was. I was like, dang, dude, I'm so sorry. I was so sorry that everybody put the Reggie Miller choke and then the Tyrese updated choke gesture after Game 1. But yeah, I I don't see this happening or continuing to happen in this Knicks series. That's why, because the Pacers, they haven't really been challenged per se in the playoffs. They've won in 5 games against the Bucks, against an injured Dame, because he had a blood clot, came back in the series, then towards Achilles, and then of course in the Cavs game where Darius Garland was injured for a little bit. I believe you had Evan Mobley was also injured as
AG, Evan,
well.
and Donnie were all battered a
Yeah,
little bit.
they were all
Yeah.
kind of
DeAndre
beat
Hunter,
beat.
too.
Yeah, they were pretty much beat up right there, and so they had a lot of momentum on their side with hardly any injury history or injury reports. But against the Knicks, a fully healthy Knicks, who took the Pacers to 7 games last season when all their players were injured. Josh Hart, OG, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, all of their players were pretty much injured last year. But the thing about big time trades with playoff teams, they usually take about a year to culminate. and in order to make them a finals contender. The only outlier that could be with is the 2020 Lakers and the 2008 Lakers as well. When they acquired Pau Gasol, took the Celtics to the finals to 6 games, and then of course acquiring Anthony Davis in the offseason in 2020 and took the Heat to 5 games or 6 games and one. So those are the only outliers. The other the other situations where those happened, the team takes a long time to sort of gel together, and that's what the Pacers have pretty much been through last year's playoffs and through half of the regular season this year, where they were pretty much a 500 team until January. So it does take a while, but once it clicks, it clicks. And I feel like the Knicks are the biggest competitor, the biggest opponent for the Pacers to for them to really test out their consistent shooting that they've been doing with Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nemhard, Tyrese Halliburton's clutch plays against Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter, and then Miles Turner, who hasn't been he's been a good shooter throughout his career as a center, but now he's actually a good shooter as a player. Does that make sense?
They're
Because
calling
I
it
feel
the
like
magnet ball these days. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because we all knew that or not Miles Teller. That's a fucking celebrity. um, we always
Miles
knew
Turner,
yeah, Miles Turner. We
not
always knew that
Teller.
Miles Teller. Sorry, I got Top Gun
They
Maverick
look
in my head.
uncannily similar. I get
They
it.
Great
do,
movie.
right? They do. So Miles Turner has been a great shooter as a center throughout his career. I mean, I feel like he's been in the NBA for 20 years now. But he's only like in his late 20s. But now, over the last couple of seasons, he's been a great shooter as a player. Like you can compare him to the likes of wing shooters that are shooting guards and small forwards. But he's a center, so that's a big upgrade. And so you've got all these quality players that do their job well in their role against a fully healthy Knicks team. It's going to be competitive, but Brian, I mean, I know that you got a lot of Knicks bias, but how is Tom Thibodeau going to really balance his players' minutes with the top heavy starting lineup that he has compared to his bench? I mean, the Pacers can do it all day long with their bench with T.J. McConnell, Darius Walker, Thomas Bryant. They can do it all day long with
Obi
Andrew
Toppin,
and Obi Toppin too,
ain't no
former Knicks
stopping.
player as well. Obi Toppin, that freaking awesome dunk in overtime. Like, what are they gonna do, man? What is Tom gonna do?
I mean, I will say to Tibbs' credit, he's been. I mean, it's only one game from this conference finals, but he managed it better than I thought. I mean, Mitchell Robinson getting 21 minutes, Miles McBride getting 25, Cameron Payne getting 10, uh, DeLon Wright even playing. Like, I mean, it was not even a minute, but I didn't even think he'd get in at all. But I think this Knicks team is, I will say, they are very conditioned and dynamic, which I mean, it also opens the floor for one of them to get hurt, but it also allows them to be able to play for as long as they can. I mean, Mikal Bridges is the Iron Man. He hasn't missed a game in over 3 years. So, um,
You're right.
and like,
Jason Tatum's been the Iron Man for the Celtics, and he tore his Achilles. So there comes a day where players can't really be the Iron Man anymore. So you know,
oh, I
it's
know
just
it. I mean, as a Knicks fan, I'm expecting the Iron with Tibbs as the head coach. I'm expecting the Iron Man streak to end. But for now, I'm just like knock on wood. But for now, I'm just calling it was that I can. Like those injuries are what ifs. So I'm leaving it for the what if. If it happens, I'll get there. But right now, I'm just watching this. But that's to answer your question. I don't know if you want me to talk about the Knicks now, but
you think PJ Tucker should start getting some minutes?
uh
What is he? 55 years old?
Hey, he's still he's like the real Iron Man, man. He will anybody can who's guarded by PJ Tucker. Tucker, yeah, given his age now, obviously he isn't the same player he was in the past, but he's an NBA champion. He has little to no injury history. based on the minutes and the grit and grind style that he plays on defense. So you might have to put him on somebody.
Yeah, I don't know
If
how he would have made an impact in this series against Indiana because I think it's, and I'll get into it. Because I think he'd have the same role defensively as another player on this team that I'll get into. But I definitely wanted him in the Detroit series because I think he's the perfect person that could have handled and neutralized Detroit shit. Like I loved when Cat was defending Mitchell Robinson and getting in the face of Isaiah Stewart, but that's not a guy I want getting a double technical or flagrant, whatever they call it. I forgot what it was. Um,
yeah, that guy's
that
crazy.
that's something that PJ Tucker should do and was doing when he did play. And that like Detroit was the perfect series for him to play against. And I wish he played more in it, but
All right. Well, game 2 is 7 o'clock Central
8
time.
Eastern.
Eastern. Well, 7 o'clock Eastern or 7 o'clock Central.
8 Eastern, 7 Central.
8 Eastern. Yeah. Timing, man. Yeah, game 2 against the Pacers and Knicks at MSG is at 7 o'clock Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. What are y'all's predictions for this game? Who's do you think
I'll let the Knicks fan go
you
first.
think
Go ahead,
you think
Brian.
the Knicks are gonna take some notes and try to hold on to a 14-point leads in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, or you think that they might falter again and blow this game and be down 2-0? What do you think? You think you'll tie it up?
I've seen this story time and time again. The Knicks, Vegas thinks it's going to be a blowout. The Knicks are minus 250, which was a lot higher than they were favored for game one. Everyone thinks, oh, they're going to come out so pissed. The players are pissed after blowing game one. And I'll have my whole rant later. I'm just answering the questions right now. But everyone is expecting a blowout. This is such a Knicks win by 3. Another heart attack-esque game like game one. But they win by 3, and then they'll lose game 3 by 25.
Okay, so you're already predicting
Been
game
around the
3.
block.
Got it.
Yeah.
I think they really have to utilize OG more. I think he has to hit more shots. He's kind of like the
He
X
has to hit
factor. I mean,
something.
Cat. You got Cat and Jalen, who are pretty consistent. I mean, if Cat isn't having a good shooting night, he's usually grabbing the boards and shooting those threes. But um, yeah, I honestly, if the Pacers continue to shoot the way that they've shot this playoffs, I think they take it the series 2-0. But this game it's going to be in 6 games. I think the Knicks do take this one in MSG. I don't think that they're going to let them getting blown out of the court on their home court, for that matter. I just don't think that I don't think that they'll even let that happen. They cannot let that happen. And in front of all their Knicks fans and the Cat Zesty fans, I just don't think that they'll let that happen. I really think,
Obligatory mention of Cat
dude, we mentioned Cat Zestiness like 2 years ago, and now everyone's doing it.
They caught on, I guess. I don't know.
They did.
Yeah.
They really did, man. They really
That can't be
did.
basketball.
They really did.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, so the thing that everybody has said about the Pacers for like the last 2 playoff, like the postseason runs, is that surely they won't keep shooting this way, then they keep shooting that way. Surely they won't keep shooting this way, then they keep shooting that way. So like, here's the thing though. Aaron Nesmith was 8 of 9 in game 1 from
He
3.
was like, he had a T-Mac type style game
He
yesterday.
damn near 13 points in 35 seconds or whatever
Yeah.
T-Mac did, right? Yeah. So I think the Pacers are going to come out hot. I don't think they're going to get 8 of 9 from 3 from Aaron Nesmith. I think the big thing with the Knicks, I think the Knicks take it. It's going to be a close-ish game that they pull away at the end. Just seeing that Jalen Brunson had a great game in game 1. He's still able to score at will. I don't think there's any concerns with what he's going to be able to do. And, I still like Cat's matchup, whether he's going to be against Miles Turner or if they switch Siakam on them or whatever like that. I am just concerned, and maybe this is like a non-basketball way of thinking, Robert, but just like with how much the Knicks starters and a couple guys off the bench that Tibbs does play, with how much they have to play. Like, I wonder if Indiana's able to keep it close. Can they, like, if they just keep it close till the end, are those Knicks starters going to wear down on defense? And can the Patriots take advantage from there because they're able to go deeper, because Carlisle has a deeper rotation? That's the one thing I'm concerned about in terms of, like, I don't know, like, if I just think that there is a chance that, like, I see how Indiana's able to steal these games because of what their depth is able to do versus teams that play a small, like go shorter into their bench.
I mean, to Tip's credit, he has been balancing the minutes pretty well, given the lineup he has with a 6 to 7 man
Yeah,
rotation. As Brian mentioned, I mean, Cat only had 39 minutes. Brunson had 38 minutes. This is an OT, by the way. So if you play 38 minutes in OT, that's a pretty balanced amount of minutes to have. Bridges, though, had 46 minutes, and Josh Hart and OG had 44 and 42 minutes. So that, if they're going to play their forwards, a lot more than I guess they're small and power forwards and shooting guards more than Cat and Brunson. I mean, that's something you got to do because Cat and Brunson are the best two players on the lineup.
yeah. It just makes you wonder if those guys are going to play all that time and then say, like, I mean, we kind of saw it in the late fourth and overtime or whatever like that. Do you expect them to be able to perfectly, like, box out or contain somebody like Obi Toppin who's flying in off the edge, like grabbing a putback dunk or grabbing the ball, double clutching Duncan, putting his nuts on MSG? Like, it's a lot easier said than done. Again, maybe that's like an old style time of thinking. Like, I know these guys are professional athletes and they're going to go out there and perform, but, like, I don't know. I think you just saw a lot of mental mistakes and times where they were like a step off late in that game. So that's what concerns me about the New York Knicks there. But I don't know. They're the Knicks. They're tough. They're physical. MSG is going to be rocking even more than it was in game one, whether or not Timothy Chalamet's courtside. So they're going to coast off of that. They're going to win by 7 or 8 points.
I saw that shot whenever he was trying to call timeout. Chalamet was like in the corner trying to call timeout.
And he's
I
a
mean,
true blue fan.
he's a true
Like
blue fan. There's
he was
nothing
there
better
when
than
like Landry Fields was like the guy to be on the Knicks.
bro, dude. Chalamet's life
That's
right
amazing.
now is the ideal man. I mean, you're
Yeah.
able to sit courtside. You got Kylie Jenner who's in love with you and like right beside you. That's just it's gotta be something for them. It's got to be some
Peak.
kind of level of peak male peak male aura.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if we try to hate on him, like
I don't hate him.
what can we say?
I don't, dude.
Nothing.
I saw his podcast with Theo Vaughn, and like that's like a chill guy I would love to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said before, we're just three guys in our mom's basement. So, like, what are we to say, right? Your mom's basement looks better these days, Jeremy. She's really
Yeah, it does.
putting an extra hour in. Good for her.
It does. Yeah. I'm doing a bit of interior design right now. So
That's good. Hey, it's not basketball talk, but hey, I'm proud of you, man.
all right, moving on to the West.
oh,
I
wait.
thought this was. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna actually like talk about the Knicks and like my analysis.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. Yeah. So I'm gonna take
I
it
hate
from the
talking about
top.
the
I
Knicks.
guess from the playoffs, like when it started or before it started, I was hoping they could get the Bucks because the Detroit Pistons did scare me. I mean, they pretty much increased their win total by over 30, which is from the season prior, which is absurd. They got hot at the right time. They're a physical team, and like, yeah, the Knicks beat them in 6, but every game was close, so it was nerve wracking. And then they get this, and then they get the Celtics. Tom Thibodeau's kryptonite, not the Celtics, just the second round because you can never get past it.
Wow.
And I mean, and then the Celtics, like I thought they were getting swept. Like, oh, cool, we beat Detroit in 6. Our consolation is going to get swept by Boston. Then they won game 1, and I was like, okay, like cool, they're not going to get swept. They'll lose in 5. And then they won in game 2, and I'm like, oh shit, like they're going to win. Like I think they can win. And then Jason Tatum got hurt, which like I will admit, I
Sucks.
will say it did give me more confidence that the Knicks were going to win, but it sucked because like such a gruesome injury. I never want to see guys get hurt, especially like as a Knicks fan, like because now all these people can just use the excuses of Tatum was hurt, and like I want to beat them. I want to beat the best of the best at
I
their
disagree
best.
with that though.
With what?
I disagree with Like I think the Knicks would have beaten the Celtics if Tatum was healthy.
Oh, they probably still would have, but I'm just saying, like, now it gives Celtic fans an excuse. I mean, luckily, like, Dave Portnoy wasn't using that excuse and said, like, the Knicks still outplayed them. But, I mean, it did give some Celtics fans, I guess, the excuse. And then we get the Pacers, the rematch from last season, the rivalry, a lot of momentum going into it. I mean, the Knicks, this is the farthest they've gotten in my lifetime. Um, actually, this final four teams are interesting because it's either a team that's never won at all or the Knicks that haven't won in 52 years. Another fun fact about the West, it's the first time a Western Conference final doesn't feature a team in California or Texas since 96. So that's also pretty cool. But as far as like back to the Knicks, I mean, this Knicks team is confusing, and like just watching them, and like I haven't been this confused watching the Knicks since I took biology my sophomore year of high school. That's just how confusing this is. So get your popcorn guys ready because it's infuriating. Like people say like, oh, it's the Knicks. Like it is the Knicks. Like game one isn't shocking to me, and that's what I think makes it 10 times more angry. Is like my advice to like non-Knick fans watching this is expect the unexpected because that's what the Knicks. I mean, only the Knicks can give me the best game of my life in beating Boston in Game 6, and then losing game one the way they did to the Pacers a week later. I saw the best and worst games of my life as a Knicks fan. And I mean, game one, I actually missed the first half because I was at the movies. Um, and then I come back, I'm at a
Casual.
bar watching watching the rest of it, and like the Knicks played pretty well. Like the Knicks out of a 48-minute game, like regulation game, the Knicks played great basketball, not near perfect basketball for 44 out of the 48 minutes. But you're only going to win a game if you play a solid 48, and they didn't. I mean, just like taking a look at the stats, like there's tons of ways I can blame this, and you guys know I'm not a Tom Thibodeau guy, but he's like maybe the fifth person I'd blame for this loss. What really lost you the game was the free throw line. Next to a layup, especially for professional athletes, the free throw should be the easiest shot to make. It's half of it.
Talking
Why
to
it's so
Rockets, they were
easy
the
is
worst free throwing. Sorry, talking to Rockets,
you're
they were the
good.
worst free throw starting team in the league. That's why they lost against Golden State. They couldn't hit their free throws.
Hey, you took a
Free
bond over
throw
there.
line,
That's fine.
it's free. It's in the name. It should be a near give me. The Knicks took 40 free throws the other night. 40, 4-0. 12 more than the Pacers did. You know how many they missed? 12. And they lost by 3 points, and that was in overtime. And it's that's going to lose you the game, letting and what I hate the Pacers. 2013, I think the Knicks could have won the championship if Akeem Olajuwon or if Roy Hibbert didn't become like a Akeem Olajuwon to Kembe Mutombo, and now they let Aaron Nesmith, who you guys talked about earlier, they let him become Kevin Durant, scoring 30 points. I think like 7 for 9 from three, especially like
8 for 9.
so fast. It's just that just stuff is like it's once again you can't make it up. And then Tyrese Halliburton hitting that incredible circus shot. If it just and like I'm not even kidding, if he just swished it, I wouldn't have been that mad. The fact that it takes that bounce, jumps up, and comes back down, it pissed me. It was like a gunshot went off in Madison Square Garden. The whole like the whole arena went silent. The whole bar I was at went silent. And then that's when I knew they were going to lose in overtime because the Knicks, they suck in overtime. They they were all worn out. They were probably pissed and mad that they lost. And I mean, just like Pascal Siakam being matched up on Josh Hart is just like a mismatch. I'm surprised the Pacers didn't utilize it more. Um, Jeremy, you were talking about OG and Anunoby needs to hit. I mean, threes, that would be a fever dream because he's barely making free throws. Mikal Bridges bricked 2 free throws. I mean, those last 4 minutes were just like if you like honestly you sub the Knicks starting five and you put us in trying to close out a game. The last 2.5 minutes of Jalen Brunson was abysmal. Like Jeremy, Andy mentioned Donovan Mitchell's usage was like 42, 43%. I think Jalen Brunson's usage in the last 4.5 minutes or 4 minutes of that game was 100 between the turnovers, the the missed shots that he's chucking. Like you have the lead, not a lot of time left. You're up 14. Dribble out the clock. Don't rush anything. OG Anunoby's taking threes, chucking, and he's missing. Like, God forbid you do a pump fake, dribble inside, and you're either getting a layup or you can pass to someone cutting for a layup. Then the defensively, the effort. I think it was um not Miles Turner that hit a three or something. Someone hit a three where because the Knicks always love to help defense. When you can't help defense on a Pacers team that shot 40.5% from three, but no, let's just do still double team to have help and then leave someone wide open. Josh Hart, I know he's been getting into hockey and he's been a huge New York Ranger fan lately. Watching him defensively on these switches, I don't know if he thought he was at a Ranger game or Disney on Ice, the way he kept slipping, which you can't do against a team that's shooting 40.5% from three. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to sound like Frank the Tank now. Like, this team just looks feeble. This team's lost. Game one was the most important game of the series because the Knicks, I don't know if you guys know this, and like, yes, this, like, the Knicks have never won a playoff series where they lost the first game. They've never won. Now the Celtics series
Is
before
that
that,
true? Is that a stat?
that's true. That's true. And the Knicks have also
Okay.
That's kind of
never
wild.
the Knicks have never won a playoff series at home since 1999 until they beat the Celtics at home. So like there was that. And the Knicks haven't won a playoff series ever since when they lost the first game. So there's that. Um the Pacers have all the momentum now, and rightfully so. I mean, you come back down 14 points with like 4 minutes left. Tyrese Halliburton has this incredible circus shot, goes 31 points. I mean, there's that. And then now you're going into game two in a must win game. Like all the pressure is on New York right now when they have the momentum. I mean, having 15 turnovers to the Pacers 7 is another thing that's going to kill you. And once again, the media gets what they want, that the Knicks are a laughing stock and a joke. I mean, I will say though, like fuck Brian Windhurst, fuck Paul Pierce. Like those two guys can
All righty, bro.
what like they whatever. And then Stephen A. Smith, like out of everything, he's still talking about Tyrese Halliburton is still not a superstar. Like who cares? Win the game. Like win the games that you're supposed to, not blow that. Like if the Knicks just lost in a close game and they lost by 5, I think I'd still be kind of confident. It's the way they lost that just makes me feel like they're gonna lose this series. And like they're even talking about like, oh, are the Pacers more of the feel good story? Are they the more underdog? Like whatever. And it just like it just gets me so heated. And like people are saying like Nick fans are spoiled, and I'm like, you can describe Nick fans many ways. Spoiled is not one I'd use. I'm watching like pick and rolls of Alonzo Trier and Cole Aldridge. Like they deserve to get to the conference finals and like this ride and stuff. So like screw anyone that says like the Knicks are spoiled. It's just that's just like it pisses me off. And
All
then
right.
yeah, I mean
You can keep going.
Let it rip, Ryan.
Let it rip, bro. Come on.
it's just so infuriating. I mean the only way they win game 2 is if they have to come out and start hot and then they also have to finish hot. And I mean I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight, and then. But I mean, what is giving me a little bit of confidence to counter the they've never won a playoff series starting 0-1 is Tyrese Halliburton when he thought he hit the game winning three as opposed to the game tying two. He did the choke. When Reggie Miller did the choke, they still lost that playoff series. So
That is
that's
true.
what's
That
giving
is very
me
true. They
a
went to the
little bit of confidence. And like also I'm general as negative as I just sounded the past however long I ranted. I am still generally optimistic, and I think, and like Jeremy called him Mr. Clutch, like Brunson still is clutch. Like the Knicks are a great like playoff road team, but it's just, I mean, the little things you got to get corrected. You got to hit your free throws. Josh Hart needs to stop slip and sliding. Like he's on an ice rink. Like hit your free throws, take care of the easy things because Jalen Brunson and Cat consistently have been elite offensively. Bridges and OG need to get going. Um, so like there's that, and then defensively too, like you need to have an identity because you can't let the Pacers shoot 40.5% from three consistently when they have shooters. You can't let Aaron Nesmith look like Kevin Durant. You can't let Tyrese Halliburton give you 31 and 11. You can't let Obi Toppin silence the crowd with an incredible putback dunk. Like you need to have that identity. You need to be the physical team like that Andy mentioned because defensively, and Tibbs is a defensive minded guy. He needs to keep these guys in check, keep them composed because Brunson is probably one of the worst defensive point guards in basketball if he's not drawing you a charging foul or creating a steal. And then Cat, like if he was in the NIL era in college, he'd have a NIL deal of Charmin Ultra Soft toilet paper because he's as zesty as he is. He's also soft defensively, so he can give you 35 offensively. But what is he going to give me defensively? It's kind of why, especially for a Pacers team that has Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. I kind of want them to start Mitchell Robinson and Cat because taking a look at the Knicks Celtics series, when Mitchell Robinson was on the court, and yes, I know Kristaps Porzingis was hurt or has long COVID, or even people saying he has AIDS, whatever. He wasn't looking
What?
him. No, that's a thing. Like they're literally thinking he has
Dude.
AIDS because he has a
Okay,
shortness
bro.
of breath and that whole bunch of
I did
stuff.
not think that was going to get brought up here.
Yeah,
But
AIDS. Oh my god.
but Mitchell Robinson, when he was on the court, the Knicks were outscoring the Celtics by 65 or 61. When Mitchell Robinson was off the court, Celtics were outscoring the Knicks by 35. I don't know the plus minuses off the top of my head of game one, but for a bigger team,
Zero. It's zero.
in the Pacers, also like the Celtics, similarly to the Celtics, you need them both on the court. And I feel like in the 21 minutes Mitchell Robinson played, I know he only had 2 points, but he had 8 rebounds, probably had a block or two. And I bet you, even when he's not blocking, he's alternating or altering the Pacer shots just because of his sheer size. You got to utilize that more. And as far as and it also allows your bench to get more looks if you have I kind of want Mikal Bridges playing a lot. So if you have like Josh Hart move to the bench, that allows him to run the bench unit, get going offensively. It helps Miles McBride because as good as McBride is and underrated as I think he is, I think the one skill he's lacking as a point guard is he's not really a playmaker. I don't really think he's good at creating shots for himself or his teammates. You throw in a Josh Hart, it takes immense pressure off his eyes or off his hands. So I know I ranted and I talked about a lot, but those are, I think, the biggest, like the keys
Okay.
of things they need to fix if they really want to win the series.
Okay. Yeah, you did. I mean, their box stat line isn't too bad aside from the free throws. Um, the thing is about the Pacers, they shoot three pretty well. I mean, they shot 40.5% from deep in game one on 37 attempts. Uh, if you block the perimeter, the Knicks block the perimeter, then the Pacers just go to the basket because of their 28 free throw attempts. So it's hard to figure out which to prioritize. I think the Pacers should just, well, actually, my bad. No, if I think the Knicks should just really focus on getting the ball out of Tyrese Halliburton's hands because he's the facilitator. He's more of a facilitator than a scorer, and if you get that up the ball out of his hands, then it's a much better outcome because Neesmith, Nimhard, Siakam. I mean, Siakam can do a little bit of playmaking, but their bottom line, if Tyrese Halliburton does not have the ball in his hands, bringing it up the midcourt, I think the Knicks might have a shot. I it's funny how me and Andy are a lot more optimistic about game two for the Knicks' outcome compared to you, Brian. But I guess it's because you're just a diehard fan and you would just think the worst.
I mean,
So
just like
Yeah,
nothing
I mean,
surprises me.
yeah. I mean, if I saw Aaron Neesmith, I didn't realize Aaron Neesmith hit 6 threes in the fourth quarter alone. I mean, that
he
would probably
hit.
demoralize me as an opposing fan too. That's
I
insane.
the thing is though, I know that Brian, you said the Knicks choked. I don't think the Knicks really choked. I just don't.
I
Yeah,
mean,
if
you're
you're
up
up by 14 with
14
2
with
minutes
four
left to
minutes
go,
left.
yeah, 2 minutes left to go, up by 14, and then Cat hits that 3-pointer, you're up by 17. Pacers they just hit good. They hit their shots. Mostly they were contested aside from that Josh Hart slip up.
I mean, yeah, the Pacers hit their shots, but I think offensively they threw the game away between Mikal Bridges bricking 2 free throws. OG went 1 of 2. You're rushing shots and
The
turning
free
over the
throws, the
ball.
free throws hit them. Yeah, the free throws hit them. I got you. The free throws did.
Oh,
So
defensively,
yeah,
it's
make make
I
make your
guess
free
it's not a
throws.
joke.
Yeah, make your free throws. Yeah, if they hit maybe 5 more of their free throws, they would have won.
Also, the goaltending that they didn't call, that also swayed the game. But
Uh, I
I'm not
mean,
going to blame the refs
there's
because
one if
there's
one or two
enough that the Knicks
calls.
did.
If one or two calls is the reason why you think your team lost, there's 46 other minutes to deal with. I mean, the Knicks.
No, no, that's why I said the
Yeah,
main
it's
reasons
not like
earlier,
the
and I just
it's not like the
mentioned it.
2002 Lakers and Kings or the 2018 Rockets and Warriors game. Like it's not like that. Like where they just didn't make the calls that should have been made. So
No, no, that's why it was the one of the last. It was the last thing I mentioned because it wasn't the main reason. I'm just saying that it did still happen, and it was a close game.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I got the Knicks winning game too, man. I'm rooting for you. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference. I feel like we won't really say much. We got. I thought this matchup of the Wolves and the Thunder was going to be a little bit more competitive with the Thunder coming out of the West in 7 games, but the Thunder are now up 2-0 against the Wolves, heading to Minnesota. Game 1 was pretty competitive. Julius Randle was just on fire. Um, and but Anthony Edwards really didn't have much of a presence in both games. He kind of slipped up. I mean, they had quite a competitive game up until the third quarter of game 1, and then the Thunder just ran with it. Shea was on the bench when the Thunder went on this crazy run. By the way, like they didn't even need Shea, and that's how great this Thunder team is as the best team in the NBA this season. I really feel like the Nuggets were their best competitor, because Jokic is the best player in the world right now, and a team with Jokic, you definitely a semifinals contender, no doubt at least. But with the Wolves, man, I think their luck is starting to fall apart. They had an easy path to the playoffs to begin with, beating the Lakers with a 40-year-old LeBron and an overweight Luca. And then you had the Warriors with Steph Curry going down in game 1. And with Jimmy Butler's his playoff success is, I mean, at 35, 36 years old, you're not going to be able to beat playoff Jimmy, I think. And also, you don't have that great of a roster like the Heat does, supporting cast rather. So the Wolves really they had luck on their side, looking at the first 2 games against the Thunder, because the Thunder are a fully healthy team. What
Yeah,
do you think the Wolves should really focus more on? I mean, I thought they had a better bench than the Thunder. Thunder might have a better bench because they don't even have to play with Shea. Shea can be injured, and I think the Thunder could win in 6 games. And what does this really say about Anthony Edwards' current legacy as a Timberwolves?
yeah. I mean, and I'll keep it short, but I think, especially considering I haven't watched a single second of game 1 or game 2 of the West, but looking
Why are you talking then?
looking at the stats, and just like and like the scores and stuff, they just need to find an identity offensively. And I think, Jeremy, it does lead to your question about Ant Edwards, about his legacy. I mean, he is still like super young, and they said it last year when the Timberwolves went down early, like how he just doesn't show up in the bright moments. I mean, the Thunder have probably the best roster in basketball, and what's left of the 4 teams. It's why they were the best team basketball record wise. They have Shea, who just won the MVP. They have Chet Holmgren. They got the missing link to their team, Isaiah Hartenstein, who can be a body that can help Chet Holmgren on the glass and inside. They're very complete. They're very well coached. The Timberwolves, they're more of a top heavy team. They got the Ant Edwards, Julius Randle, solid 1-2 punch, scoring 88 points in game 1 and then 103 points in game 2. They're not. That's not going to win you a basketball game. And what was crucial for the Timberwolves was they had to steal a game in Oklahoma City if they wanted a chance. Um, and so it's tough. Um, but yeah, like you and that's pretty much it.
They gotta stop shooting threes. I think so. They went 15 for 51 in game one, and then in game two
Eleven for
they shot
39.
11
Wasn't
out
much
of
better.
39. They yeah, not even better. Like it's even a worse percentage from that. And so they really just got to stop shooting threes. They got to just drive to the basket. That's why the Pacers are winning their games. Uh, the Celtics was kind of the Celtics really rely on the threes, and I feel like living and dying by the three is very risky. And the first two games, the Wolves have really tried doing that. I mean, Anthony Edwards' 3-point attempts have increased significantly this season, both regular and playoffs. And I feel like he should use his athleticism more and drive more to the basket. If he gets blitzed, fine, pass it to a rolling big, in Randall or in Gobert. But Gobert is getting completely pummeled in this series so far. He has been a non-factor as a player. I mean, far from his 2020 game or 2020 game against the Lakers in two series ago where he was dominant. It's kind of hard being dominant when you have Hartenstein and Holmgren at the rim because like they are two very large bigs, and with one being a good stretch four. So it's definitely a bad matchup for the Wolves so far in the series, but they just in order to really start on the right foot, they got to stop shooting threes. Like they just need to stop. Maybe shoot like 25 threes a game or less.
Yeah. No, I agree. And here's the crazy thing about it. So you look back at game two with how bad the Wolves shot. It was 11 of 39, so just over 28%, which is far below league average, far below where you
Abysmal.
want to be if you're shooting that many. The Thunder shot 9 of 33, so that's less threes on a worse percentage, right? Everyone always talks about how, and Doris Burke actually brought up on the broadcast, Shea a free throw merchant or whatever, which was very funny to hear from Doris Burke, by the way. Just that didn't think that she would bring up NBA Twitter or whatever like that. But whatever your thoughts are about that, okay?
I'm on it. I'm for it, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to get to a point to that. But yeah, so with all that being said, Minnesota made more free throws than Oklahoma City, all right? So they shot, with how bad they shot the three, they actually shot a better percentage from three, made more of them, and and made more free throws than the Thunder. With that being said, the Timberwolves still lost by 15. Okay, it just goes to show you how much of a stacked deck you're playing against when you play against the Thunder, because it's normally like I don't know if you have a bad game shooting and your opponent shoots worse, you'd expect to come close. But I think the Thunder, I thought for so long, I think a lot of people were trying to see like how this team, wouldn't match up in the playoffs or like that. They get bounced like they did last year or whatever it was. Like they don't have enough experience or whatever like that. But when it comes down to their depth and what they're able to do on both ends of the floor, whether you talk about their specific individual defense, the team defense they play, their offensive identity and structure, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander just playing MVP basketball, whatever it is. I don't. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what makes the Thunder great because I think it's so many things. They take care of the basketball. I think they win like the turnover battle against their opponents a majority of the time. I think it was really significant in the last series they played, and I guess just so far in this postseason in general, they do
Yeah.
that really well. And I mean, when you have guys not named Shea Gilgeous-Alexander that can explode for 20, 30 point barrages whenever they want to, like if Shea plays even 75% of how good he's been playing. And Jalen Williams, who was 12 of 20 last game with 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists to go along with that. What are you going to do? Because that's, you have to put your best defender on Shea, who's still going to score at will. J Dub's right there with it. Chad Holmgren being a freak of nature, he had a great game last game. The box score says he was, 22 points. And keep in mind, they're putting up all these stat lines, and they didn't even shoot that well from three. Who is one of the more prolific and better volume shooting 3-point teams in the league. When you put that together, and then you have Lou Dort putting whoever in the Dorter chamber off the bench, as well as Alex Caruso, which again, Dorter chamber, great nickname. I don't know who came up with that, but credit to
Great.
them. I think people wanted to write off this Thunder team for the longest time because they didn't see Shea as an MVP candidate. They didn't see the rest of the squad as a team that can bolster him in the way that they have. But it goes back to, I think, Mark Daigneault. He won Coach of the Year last year, year before, whatever it was.
I think last year.
Uh, yeah,
One coach of the year last year. Yeah.
this team has so much chemistry. I know they have a couple newcomers in this team, but it really doesn't matter. This is a homegrown lineup for the most
Yeah.
part. That, I mean, they're just firing all cylinders. It's really hard to argue otherwise. It's not that Minnesota is a bad team by any means. I know they haven't been getting meaningful contributions from a couple guys like Naz Reid, who we've seen go off for like 20, 30 points, just, putting up threes like nobody's business. I think he missed all 5 threes he shot last game. A couple other guys really aren't stepping up the way they should, but I don't know. OKC's a well-oiled machine. I had them winning this series in 6 games. I'm wondering if I have to tell that back to 4 or 5 at this point because
4 might be 4 or 5.
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, I think a lot of things went the Timberwolves' way. They outperformed OKC in certain aspects of the game. The rebounding battle was even. They actually shot a better percentage from 3. They made more free throws, and they still lost by 15. Like, what are you supposed to do? I really don't know.
yeah, and like Jeremy said, like I had the hopes that this would be super competitive, and I think like a lot of basketball fans, like I mean, I as a Knicks fan, like I don't care who they play, I want the Knicks in it, but I think like I really wanted it to be Knicks Timberwolves because there's so many storylines between Tibbs coaching against his former team, Cat versus former team, DiVincenzo and Randall versus their former team, like so many storylines in that regard, but and like the Timberwolves are such a fun team to watch, but kind of like Andy was saying, like you're getting, and I can say this like as a Knicks fan, you're getting the bipolar Julius Randle if you don't know which one's going to show, or the inconsistent Julius Randle and you don't know which one's going to show up. I mean, amazing in game 1, and then he puts up 6, 5, and 5 in game 2, and like, and I agree with you, Andy, because Naz Reid, who's been spectacular, has kind of been like nowhere to be found this series, but like I feel like in the playoffs in general, Dante DiVincenzo has been awful, and he's just taken like a lot of games off. Like I don't know if it's his confidence; he just doesn't look right. He's not shooting the ball well. Um, so, and I think that attests to even more. If your shooters aren't shooting, stop shooting. Um, Jeremy, I agree with
Yeah.
Jeremy. The live by the 3 ball, die by the 3 ball is a very scared way to play. And you have like Randall as a big bodied 4 and Gobert the 5. Take advantage of the Thunder's like lack of strength. Like, yes, Chet Holmgren is 7 foot or seven,
Whenever
whatever.
Hartenstein or Holmgren on the bench, do a pick and roll.
Oh, when they're on the bench, especially like
Pick
take
and roll.
advantage. Like even have Ant like drive inside. Like I'm
That'd be
pretty
cool.
sure the free throw. Yeah, actually, the Timberwolves in game 2 they had more free throws attempted, so they're getting the fouls like called, and like the rebounding numbers are same. Um, so if you just take care of the basketball, like Andy mentioned, and you stop taking less threes and get better looks, there's still chances to save this series to at least make it interesting and avoid getting it swept in an embarrassing way. Um, They just got to play better, smarter basketball. Simple,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I think, oh, sorry, Brian, if you
No,
said
that was
something
it.
there.
That was it.
Okay. I think that the other thing is the one kind of saving grace for the Timberwolves is I think you guys have both mentioned, living by the 3, dying by the 3. 2 of the guys who you would really expect to be talked about in terms of like, hey, like they've done a good job scoring so far is Jaden McDaniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker. You kind of see them like trying to go downhill, driving to the paint when one of those big time interior defenders for the Thunder are out, whether it's Hartenstein or the other Jalen Williams or whatever, which is good because that creates action. You get to the free throw line, you see what happens there. It's not that Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards haven't been doing that, but like as we talked about, the Wolves put up a lot of threes these last 2 games, and they have not hit them. They're on the road, whatever excuses you want to make and stuff like that. But you have to find a brand of sustainable basketball to play against this Thunder team because looking back to the Denver series, we saw crazy contributions. I mean, Nikola Jokic had the 44, 15, and like 10 game or whatever like that. And the Thunder
Mm-hmm.
still beat them. Aaron Gordon put up near 30 the one game and also had like a double double. And the Thunder still beat them in one of those games too. like you just have to be everybody top to bottom. You have to play a great team game, but you also have to have some impressive individual contributions. So if you're getting, again, looking back at last game, if you're getting uh, 6 points from Randall, if you're getting 5 from Gobert, if you're getting 10 from Naz Reid where he misses all of his threes, and Dante DiVincenzo only shows up at 8, and there's really nothing else meaningful coming from those guys on the offensive end. I don't want to call this series over because the Timberwolves the last 2 years have proved time and time again that like every time you count them out, they will find a way to adjust. I think Chris Finch is a great coach, and I think some of the things we said are great ideas. But I don't know, dude. It might be time to admit that the Thunder are just really good, and
Yeah.
maybe some people have already admitted that, and I'm just far too late. But I think I've low key been hating on them all year. I'm not gonna lie. So I apologize to anybody watching this from like Topeka or Oklahoma City or anything.
Topeka.
I think Topeka's in Kansas, but I think they might
It's
be
in
Yeah.
switching to the
Kansas.
Thunder.
It's in
So, yeah,
Kansas. Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to close this one up with the OKC and Wolves here. Do you guys does Shea Gilgeous-Alexander kind of remind you of like a mix between Kobe and James Harden? A mix.
Yeah.
He kind of gets space like he's Harden, but he shoots from the mid range and is pretty much automatic there like Kobe would be.
He knows how to draw fouls. Like I think Jalen needs to work out with him. Jalen Green, but like, specifically, like Jalen Green needs to work out with Shea in the offseason or something.
Yeah, it's good
Uh,
gamesmanship to draw fouls.
yeah,
I mean, you score
it's
points if you shoot free
you
throws
score
early.
points, but he has haters, which is hilarious because he's just. I mean, it's when Harden was foul baiting all the time. You know, you can't really foul bait as much as well as you did like 10 years ago because of the fact of the new referee rules and stuff. But there's still ways to exploit rules in basketball, and that's what SJ is
Trey
doing
Young
really
did it
really
too.
well. Yeah, Trey Young as well, but Trey Young can't really defend, or he's too short, and his team sucks.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Team sucks. His team's just
Yeah, the Hawks
trash.
fans are. Yeah. Sorry, Mikey
Trey
Kobrinski.
Young needs to go somewhere else. I swear, he needs to go to a better team. With
London Tigers.
Low
no,
key, I'd like him on the
needs to go.
Magic.
He'd be, yeah.
I wouldn't hate that.
I would much like to see that. That'd be great. Pairing with like Paolo and Wagner, would be great.
Yeah.
Love
No,
that.
he's a Sacramento King. Him, Levine, DeRozan, and Sabonis.
With
Sabonis,
Sabonis and Trey, dude. Anybody that has any team that has DeRozan on the team at this point in his career is just a mid-level team. Like he just needs to go to the Hornets.
It's funny.
To round out his
Mr.
career.
Mid-range on a mid-level team.
He needs to go to the Hornets to round out his career. Zach LaVine has more upside because he's younger, but he's still, he has more upside. He's still valuable, but DeRozan is just not valuable anymore. All right, you guys ready to move on?
Yeah, I was gonna say one. I mean, it's unrelated, but
What's unrelated?
I just find it. I know it was a minute ago, so I don't know if you guys want to talk about it. But since we haven't talked about it, I find it so hilarious that the Mavericks won the lottery.
Oh yeah. I think that's just a hey, Nico, you made a dumb mistake. We're gonna just salvage it and try to make your team relevant.
Yeah, I think they got rewarded for it.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's rigged as fuck.
Yeah,
it's extremely rigged.
I think Cooper Flag's going to have to adjust a little bit to all the guys that are going to need the ball on that Mavericks roster. But then again, he's Cooper Flag. He's going to be fine.
Dude, it's Nico Harrison. I don't think Nico wants rookies on his team. I think he wants just aging stars. He's gonna try to get Giannis or something. He's gonna try to get like who else is a aging star right now? I mean, Giannis isn't an aging star per se, but he's like
send the number 1 pick to the Kings for Sabonis.
Devin Booker.
Well, no, because it wouldn't work. I mean, Irving's going to come back in the middle of the season, so I don't think it's going to. Booker's untouchable. Like, no, I'm pretty sure Matt Ishbia is not going to allow any James Jones to trade Booker at all. Like, at all.
Suns need to do something. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, theoretically, Jeremy, he should be untouchable. He should be untouchable, but I think the Suns just screwed themselves over in more ways than one that they might have to.
dude.
And
I
crazier
just
things
found
have
I just found
happened
the
in
player.
basketball.
I just found the player that Nico Harrison is going to trade for. He's going to use the number one overall pick, give it to Philadelphia for Paul George and others, and round out other packages. He's going to try to get Paul George, and they're going to go over the second apron. It's going to be the fourth apron.
If
like it's
they do that,
like it's going to be like Paul George, AD, and Kyrie. What a great, what a
If they
great
do that,
great
the
Dallas is
roster.
just
unction.
gonna
Oh, what a great roster! It'll be so amazing. Oh my god. Speaking of trades, yeah, KD on the Suns is definitely not happening anymore. He's going somewhere. He might head to Houston. Uh, his trade value, though, according to like looking at trade possibilities with if the Rockets acquire KD, his trade value is pretty low. He's likely eligible for 2 first rounders and maybe a good like starting player. It's probably like his trade value, which is why I think the Rockets should pull the trigger and get KD if they really need
should.
a score like that. I know he's like old and he's pretty much a 1 year rental. If KD plays really 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 well on the Rockets, it's gonna be terrible for the salary cap. They might go over I think they're over the first apron, or no, they're not even over the first apron because they have all these young players. So they might be over the second apron if KD wants a big deal because he might play well and score really well. But yeah, that's a possibility. I'm thinking like 2 firsts, throwing Cam Whitmore in there, and also maybe Reed Shepard, or if you want to match the contract, you can give Fred Van Vliet over or actually I think the Rockets are going to restructure his contract because he has a team option. His third year, so team option third year. But I think they're going to probably give away Cam Whitmore 2 firsts and Reed Shepard or something like that. I think that'd be a pretty decent option for the Suns if they're trying to rebuild around Booker. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think that's good for both teams,
Yeah, me too. Because
especially
the
like
Suns
those two
the Suns are
players
going
you
to pick
mentioned.
back.
Oh,
Yeah, Reed Shepard and Cam Whitmore. I mean, Shepard, I would ideally want to keep because he wasn't given much minutes on the Rockets as a third overall pick. So, and he's got some great potential. He's a good shooter, good spot up shooter, can facilitate. He has a height issue though, but still he wasn't given much minutes because Fred and Amen were taking over the spots along with Aaron Holiday. Also, I think the Rockets should re-sign Aaron Holiday. I think he's great. He's phenomenal as a role player. But yeah, either Reed Shepard or maybe Dylan Brooks if you want to swap shooting or small forwards. If you want to swap that, or if you want someone more valuable, Jabari Smith. I'm willing to give up Jabari Smith.
A little younger too, yeah.
He's younger, and I feel like Smith is underutilized in this Rocket system. He's a great spot up shooter. Like he can definitely use his shooting a lot more. The only time the Rockets use him is in catch and shoot opportunities, and occasionally the elbow jumper. Occasionally when they're like 5 or 4 seconds left in the shot clock, and he makes them. He really does. What they don't really use him most is uh, interior interior scoring, which is something that he showcased a lot in Auburn, but haven't really gone to that route to that type of play style with him. So I think the Suns could use that. And Ken Whitmore is he's a head case. He's a great scorer, great athlete, but his personality and his IQ is really low as a player. And yeah, I just don't think he's a good fit for the Rockets. I think the Suns will gladly take them and a couple of their picks back.
yeah, because what I was gonna say is like I think especially because of those two players plus the draft capital, I think it's perfect for both teams because the Suns. Well, I'll start with the Rockets. The Rockets get the true superstar that they haven't really had since Harden, and then and Durant, solid elite scorer, one of the best scorers in the game, which is huge for them. Opens up their legit chances of contending, competing for a championship and like a deep playoff run. And then for the Suns, it allows you to get some draft capital back that you've pretty much destroyed when you traded or when you got Durant, um and then like Bradley Beal, so and like Eric Gordon. So allows you to replenish that, and then it also allows you to build your depth, and especially like round out your kind of like your like 2 3 wing positions, because I feel like the Suns team was the best, obviously, like because they went to the finals, but they had just a solid core between Booker, Cam Johnson, Aiton, and Mikal Bridges. That's when I feel like when the Suns were at their best, when they had their true superstar and a great supporting cast. So I think they need to kind of get back to that mold. And I think if it was a Cam Whitmore and a Reed Shepard, I think they could develop nicely, especially Reed Shepard, learning from Devin Booker.
Yeah, I mean, as a point guard, they do need a point guard. They don't have a true point guard at all.
Yeah, they don't.
You guys notice how I didn't mention Jalen Green in the trade because the Suns don't want Green. They have Booker. There's no
Does
reason why they
anybody?
would.
Yeah,
I mean, Jalen Green could be great on the Bucks if Houston pulls the trigger for Giannis.
I think his role needs to change a little bit on a different team, and it'd be a lot different story. Yeah, but
Yeah, no, I mean the Rockets really boast him as this like primary scorer, and he just can't do it. He can't. He's not able to draw fouls like he's supposed to, like his body physique is supposed to. Um, or maybe he doesn't get the foul call like he's supposed to, but maybe he doesn't, sell it like he should. But him on the Bucks would be probably a better option because the Bucks don't have much outside shooting. I mean, they have Dame who's going to be out for the season next year. Maybe come back in like the later half of the 26 year. But if the Rockets were to trade Young for Giannis, Amen Thompson and Şengün would likely have to go, and I'm very much against that. Extremely against that.
yeah. What if it was because like I don't know, Jalen Green in my opinion is just such a confusing like player because how inconsistent he is, but I don't really see him as a Buck, to be honest. I think he'd have the same struggles in Milwaukee with Houston. But what if for and like Giannis was involved, it was a 3 team trade, and Jalen Green goes to Brooklyn? That's where
Goes
I
to
think he could have some
Portland,
success. No, Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Yeah, your mic cut off.
Oh my
Brooklyn. I
bad.
mean, Brooklyn is kind of like a breeding grounds for young players now, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
but
feel
they
like
also like they're. I don't know if it's Giannis, but they're gonna do something because they have like 90 million in cap space, plus they have like 72 draft picks in the next 7 years. So like they're gonna do something big either this offseason or next. Probably this one, to be honest.
so. What would we get from the Nets if we did a 3-team trade?
I don't know. I'm
Or
not a
what would the
GM.
Bucks
That
get from the
idea literally
Nets
just like
too?
popped in my head, but I don't know. In my opinion, too, I feel like there's a better chance the Nets get Giannis than Houston. So I don't know. I mean, that idea literally just popped in my head. I'd have to like really think about it and look at like rosters and salary cap to map it out. But I mean, I think Brooklyn could probably get. Is Steven Adams a free agent?
Yes, which I think we should resign. Like
Well,
he was
if you
so
choose
you
good.
guys
not,
absolutely should re-sign him.
if you choose to not re-sign him, I was thinking you can get like one of the Brooklyn Cams, Johnson or Thomas, and then Nick Claxton.
Off the bench, Nick Claxton.
Yeah,
I'm
because I
down.
know Brooklyn's looking to get rid of him, and Brooklyn kind of got screwed in the draft lottery. But if they could land Derek Queen, that would be solid.
So this is the blockbuster trade proposal, I believe. Let me look at it here. So send Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, Aaron Holiday, 2025 first round pick, and 2027 first round pick to the Bucks for Giannis. It's a big package. That's huge. Uh, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. It'd be sucky giving away Jabari and Aaron Holiday, but other than that, and the Rockets get the 10th pick right now. They have the 10th pick in the draft, so they don't really have much leverage there. If they were, I mean, if they had a top 5 pick, it probably would have been a lot more leverage, and they wouldn't have to give so many players. But man, um, it would be that would probably be the ideal trade. I would be okay with that because I'd still keep Amen and Şengün. Um, the Bucks would likely just tear it all down and rebuild with those young players. And they'd be probably focusing on Jalen Green and Cam Whitmore as like primary scorers, and wait for Dame to possibly come back, or just outright trade Dame once he feels healthier for more draft capital and more young players.
Yeah. I mean, so I didn't know that Dame is missing all of next year, but I think to truly
He
gauge
likely will. He likely will. I mean,
Giannis's
it's
like
an Achilles tear.
market and like trade like package or value, it's more dependent on how the Bucks want to be.
It's
Like if
what?
they're going to outright rebuild or if they're trying to retool. Because I know Boston's also going to have a crazy offseason.
If you trade
Because
Giannis, you are definitely rebuilding. If you're retooling, you're going to keep Giannis and build around him again with new players.
it's true, but
Like you're not going to build around a 34-year-old, 35-year-old Damian Lillard. No way, especially off an
no.
Achilles injury.
So yeah,
No,
that's true. They'll probably rebuild. I don't
it's
know.
definitely a
This
rebuild.
offseason is going to be crazy for the NBA. I can already feel it because like Jalen Brown is definitely gone too.
Yeah, and if you're
The
going to rebuild
Celtics,
Oh, you
around,
really think so?
here's the thing though:
I
if you
think it's a lot.
rebuild,
I think honest,
oh
if I
yeah,
was a betting
if Giannis
man,
leaves,
I think the only way I could see the Celtics keeping Jalen, I think he's gone, Jalen Brown, but the only way, because money, they just can't afford it.
oh Celtics, oh
I
yeah,
think
they're
there's
also second April.
also a possibility, though. Um, I could see Drew Holiday and Porzingis going to Golden State.
Holy shit! Okay.
Is it going to be that crazy of an off season?
So what
Holy!
you thinking? Drew Holiday, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Porzingis? Or are they going to
Yeah.
give away Green? Are they going to give up Green? Because
Uh, well, the thing is, the Warriors can't,
that's
or the Celtics couldn't even
that's
take
that's an
Green's
old
contract.
geezer injury
The
riddled
UG,
type roster. Holy shit! Like Steph Curry's going to be 37, Green's going to be 37, Butler's going to be 36, Drew Holiday is already 36, Porzingis is 30,
I
but
guess
he's
the goal is it will be Jalen Brown's team after all the uncles retire. I guess if
Well,
they
because
even want that, does
pretty much
anybody want that?
already the Warriors are pretty much already cooked post Curry anyway. So I guess their thought process, especially because they got Butler, is might as well get one more championship for Curry and then just be eternal dog shit for the next decade.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to fire up the trade machine to even see what's possible, but this has the potential to be a pretty crazy offseason. Probably not the craziest we've seen, but still, I mean, I don't know. What NBA offseason hasn't been exciting, right? We've always had some nuance to it in one way, shape, or form.
yeah. Ever since
Yeah.
the parity league entered after the CBA deals and the restrictions put on teams for buying their players. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
thanks, KD.
yeah. Thanks, KD.
Cost my team more titles.
All right, man. Well, I think we're about to probably about to head out off this podcast. We hope you guys enjoyed this chill side of the podcast. One half has been ranting about playoffs and teams not doing so well, and teams who should have been in the playoffs deeper but didn't get there, and Cavs and Knicks basically talking about that.
Hey,
But yeah. Also, shout out to NBA on TNT still bringing in Draymond Green even after he got like gentlemen swept in the second round in their last ever conference finals. TV. It's gonna suck to see
TNT
Draymond Green
broadcast
going
is
down.
just the Knicks hatred broadcast between Reggie Miller and
It's
Draymond.
Reggie Miller and Kevin Harlan and what's the other guy's name? Stan Van Gundy. Like it's I
Oh,
like
Stan
him.
Van
I
Gundy
really do.
hate Stan Van Gundy hates the Knicks because I think he's
Look,
just
but
salty that he's the second best coach in his family.
I don't know. I don't know what y'all think, but a lot of people don't like Reggie Miller as a color commentator. I like him a lot. I don't know.
Okay, let
I
me.
think he's
Okay, I love Reggie unless he does a Knick or Pacer game because he's too biased positively towards the Pacers and he's too biased negatively towards the Knicks. You give him and like he doesn't even hide how much he hates the Knicks either. You give him a
How could you
non-Knick
not?
or Pacer
He was in
game,
the
I think he's
Pacers.
great. What?
Hey, yo, watch out.
There is
What?
a whole documentary on how much he hates the Pacers. There is a whole 30 for 30 about it. So like, or
Who,
how much he
Reggie?
hates the Knicks. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
much he
yeah,
hates the
yeah.
Knicks. Yeah,
He's
but
literally said
like,
it.
yeah. Well, he was a Pacer for 18 years, his entire career. So like, what do you
None.
expect?
But I'm saying like,
What do you want?
well,
Like
I don't
Clyde
like him.
Frazier?
No, you don't
Yes,
get
of
a.
course
You
he
don't.
does.
You want Clyde Frazier as like a third commentator on the TNT board? Like you want
I mean, that
Mike
would be
Breen
awesome.
to jump
No, like,
ship
I'm
to
saying like, I mean, I wouldn't want Walt Clyde Frazier or Wally because I don't want a national broadcast should have no bias in it at all. Like I don't even like as
You
much
got
as I
Kevin.
love
You have
Mike
Kevin Harlan
Breen.
for that. You got Kevin Harlan for that. I mean, he's the guy who talks the
Is
most.
this the dagger?
You still shouldn't
Oh,
be like you still. I don't know. There still shouldn't be anybody. I love Brian Anderson. That's who I would have wanted.
I love Brian Anderson as much as the next guy, but Kevin Harlan is every single day like warms my soul.
Oh, Kevin
I
Harlan's
mean, it was
great too.
going to
I'm
either
saying
be
like
Kevin Harlan. It was either going to be Kevin Harlan, doing the play-by-play with the Wolves, his former team that he did locally against the Thunder, or it's going to be Knicks and Pacers, and people like Knicks and Pacers because Reggie Miller is there. So
they should have us
yeah,
do
but
it.
it's just like I don't know. Just the bias is incredible. I mean, luckily, like I didn't really hear like the game because like they didn't really have like the volume because it was at a bar. But a lot of my friends were talking that he was very biased, which like I don't I don't want. Like if you're, it's perfect for you guys as a non-Knick or Pacer fan, but if like you guys were in my shoes, you'd hate it too.
yo, watch out, bro. Watch.
Nick
You
Watch out
said it
for what?
or
three. You said it
Pacer
three
fan.
times.
A little
You said it
slow when you say
three
that.
times already, dude.
What?
I
Ford
was
Pacer
like,
fans? What? Am I missing something?
Nick or Pacer fans. You said it so
Don't say
quick.
Nick or real fast. We do not want to say that too fast. Like Steve Kerr's
Knicks
son. You don't want to say
or
his name too fast either.
Pacers? Oh,
That's
I get.
fine.
Oh, okay. The light
Yeah.
bulb just went off. The light bulb. Get your minds out of the gutter, guys.
Oh my god, dude.
Jeremy, say the outro. We gotta go.
Okay, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Please tune into our Spotify as well. We're gonna also upload short clips to TikTok. It's cut the nets underscore BSP on all of our socials. We hope you enjoyed this podcast of Cut the Nets, and let us know what your thoughts about each playoff team so far in the NBA and where you think the playoffs are headed in the comments of all of our either clipped videos on TikTok or YouTube below. Thank you so much for watching. This is Jeremy. That is Brian, who I might have to talk to later about making sure that he says words that aren't supposed to be said. And then you got
I just
Andy.
said the Knicks. You guys got to get your minds out of the gutter.
Okay. All
All
right.
right, all
Play
right,
the
all right,
tape
all
back.
right. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Cut the Nets signing out. We appreciate y'all.